Welcome to the Far Verona faction turn. Welcome, citizens of Aker on Row. This is Far Verona faction turn number 5. It's gonna be a busy one, so I'm gonna jump right into it, kind of as quickly as I can. I did want to say, as always, a big thank you to all of the faction reps for their hard work this month. Thank you to everybody participating in the faction turn, whether you are scrapping it up, doing the fighting, or whether you're making lore, or whether you're doing both things. Thank you for your participation. There's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, like faction turn generally, but also we only have 2 hours. So I want to make sure that we get the faction turn done, and then if we have time at the end, we'll do the thing. So thank you, representatives. Thank you, of course, mods. Thank you, everybody, for participating and for behaving yourselves. All right, let's process some orders, shall we? Now, if you haven't watched this before, you're going to see some spreadsheets. The spreadsheets are going to have names, they're going to have numbers, they're going to have words in them, like Preceptor Archive and Honglu. Probably won't make any sense. What I'm doing here is I am using a subsystem of a role-playing game. That role-playing game is Stars Without Number. The subsystem is called the Faction Turn. The Faction Turn allows us to separate the universe into 13 large groups. Those large groups are in competition with each other for money, for control, for power. They're fighting. Some of them are fighting harder than others. We have a universe map called Aker on Row. It's our sector where everybody lives. And what this does is it creates not only a game that everybody can play, and you can play too if you're a patron of RollPlay, patreon.com/roleplay. You can play too. But also it creates a backdrop for the Far Verona Stars Without Number campaign, which is really cool and fun. And we have been using what's happening in the faction turn to inform what goes on in the game. So let's take a look at where we're at today, and we will begin processing our factions orders. Here we go. All right, Acheronronians. Here we are. So, these are our factions. The order in which today's turns take place was randomly generated after the last faction turn. The faction representatives have known since that day. I'm going to wait. You won't receive your new turn order until the 1st of October. So if you end up switching, if your rep switches factions, there isn't like a potential for trouble there. So that was determined. Everybody's known. They've submitted their orders. They've built all their stuff. They've made plans. They've diplomatized, and we are ready to process. So the very first turn. Oh, and I gotta say also, I've given you factions. I've given you some leeway this turn on being verbose, but next turn I am cutting back on your announcements. Some of you went a little overboard. We're cutting it back next turn. This was a big turn, so I'm going to give you a little bit more room to pontificate, but seriously, all right? Come on. Okay, all right, so the Church of Humanity Repentant, the sort of New Testament Church, the Church of Humanity Repentant, they have recently joined the Sector Trade Organization, which I found to be amusing. Let's say that. I found it to be amusing. I thought it was funny that that's how that turned out. It was interesting. We have this burgeoning middle class, and now they have a religion, I guess. Let's take a look at what they're going to get up to. So at the very beginning of their turn, because they have no goal. They've assigned one. Their new goal is to blood the enemy. So they're going to blood the enemy, and that's cool for them. Here, hold on, I gotta clear this. Where's your clear notes? There we go. So they're gonna blood the enemy, which means inflict a number of hit point damage on enemy factions equal to your force, cunning, and wealth ratings. So as the CHR does damage, they will get progress towards their goal. They're here to blood the enemy today. Well, maybe not today, but in the future. Church of Humanity Repentant. Repent, but we're going to slap you around until you do. So they're going to get some money. They have 5 income. They start with 13. They get 5 income. Let's do a quick check and see if they get any more than that. Where are you, Church of Humanity Repentant? Do you have any party machines? You sure do. 1, two party machines. So that's actually your income becomes 7, which brings you up to a balance of 20 faction credits. Cool. Okay. All right. So they got 20 faction credits to begin. They are going to take on turn 5, they're going to take the action buy asset. They were first. So let's go ahead and they're going to buy an asset with all those fat creds they've got. So number 1. Okay. Buy asset. They're going to buy a demagogue on 0407 Yakia. And that is their turn. So let me go and process that, and then I will read their short essay. Church of Humanity Repentant. They get a demagogue on the planet Yakia. All right. So the Church of Humanity Repentant has purchased a demagogue. Demagogues are great units, cunning units with 10 hit points. And the demagogue, let me just double check that price, make sure they're not accidentally overspending here. You know, you'd think that the word demagogue wouldn't show up as often as it does, but Kevin Crawford really likes it. They cost 20 faction credits. There you go. You have 0 credits, the Church of Humanity Repentant. You spent all your money. You bought yourself a demagogue, and now they are on Yakia with that demagogue. Cool. Let's see what else is going on in Yakia. Yakia's busy. Look at all this shit. They got a demagogue. They got a party machine. Yeah, CHR is all over Yakia. You think Yakia is the it's the like labor rights religion planet. Like it's the UPC's homeworld, right? And they've got a whole bunch of these Church of Humanity Repentant folks on them. It's also neighboring Demnoff and Hroa, which is a big deal. Satsos is a very busy system. Also, Vildharja, thank you. It has been a tense month. You're right. That helps. So yeah, Yakia, Hroa, and Demnoff. Hroa being the Serpent's homeworld. That system, Satsos is it's gonna be tense. It's gonna be tense in the next little while. Let me read the Church of Humanity Repentant statement, and then we'll move on. The Church of Humanity Repentant would like me to read the following prepared statement for you. 23 years ago, the name Cygnus became synonymous with traitor. Millions of souls were lost. Today, the same self-appointed legislators would have it decreed that it is treason to be a free man in this sector. If they are not stopped, millions will be lost again. Repentance begins when, at the moment where history starts to repeat itself, you stop to rethink your actions and choose the other path. People of Yakia, we have chosen. The Treaty of Kabina has been signed. Rise up and repent. Rise up and remember. The cinders of Gats burn within us. So it seems to me like the STO, at least, and we'll talk more about this when we look at Prism. It seems to me that they are leveraging pretty hard on this idea that House Crux didn't save us. This is like dangerously pro-synth talk. This idea that Cygnus was like secretly like okay, I guess. It's a big gamble. It's a big gamble. This thing is one of the I've started to refer to them as canon mysteries. In the sense that there are things that I refuse to give a straight answer on and that no one knows the truth about, which leaves you room to make up propaganda like that. Yeah, to just decide, like, I don't know, maybe they're jerks. It's great. I like, you know me, I like systems, I like settings that don't have a universal truth built into them. I like questions more than I like answers. And this question is the sort of predicating question of imagine a season 0 before this game began. The main thing there was, what is the deal with House Cygnus? And so it's cool seeing some of that stuff come back and get played around here. So cool. All right. So speaking of churches, speaking of the church, the other church gets to go now. The High Church of Messiah as Emperor. So the High Church The other church, the established church with their flying golden temple and their teleporting shotgun boys, they're going to get their turn. So let's do an asset check here. So they start with 11 credits. We're going to organize them. They start with 11 credits, but only 10 blessings. They do not have a party machine. Okay. So that's good. So they're going to end up with 18 credits. God bless the High Church of Messiah as Emperor for doing that math for me in advance. I do double check your math, but thank you for starting me. And they are going to take an action that I don't think we've seen yet. Let's pop over to the faction turn and I'll punch it in here. So these guys on this turn, they're going to take the refit action. So refit. So the refit action, I will read it to you, and I will give you its description. So the refit action allows you to, it allows you to take an asset, choose one asset, and change it to another asset of the same type. If the new asset is more expensive, pay the difference. The asset must be on a planet that allows the purchase of the new asset. Turning a militia squad into elite skirmishers requires a tech level 4 world and governmental permission. For example, a refitted asset is unable to attack or defend until the beginning of the faction's next turn. So they're going to take the refit action. They're going to turn an existing asset into something different. All right, so they're going to refit. Let's go take a look at what they've got. They're going to refit their covert transit net. So let's see. This is this guy. Their covert transit net on Lovelace. Right? So this is ostensibly with the help of the scientists on Lovelace. They're refitting their covert transit net. The High Church of Messiah as Emperor has its own like very, very powerful VI now. That covert transit net is being refitted into a Panopticon Matrix. Panopticon Matrix. So the Panopticon Matrix, I will read the description of this. I love this asset. I think it's so cool. Besides having like an amazing name, it is a cunning, very high cunning asset. I believe it is cunning 8. It is the most powerful cunning asset. It would cost 30 if you weren't refitting. And so let's discuss what it does. Our friend, the Panopticon Matrix, friend computer. Let's see here. These facilities weaved break AI intelligence analysts into a web of observation capable of detecting even the slightest evidence of intruders on a world. Every rival stealth asset on the planet must succeed in a cunning versus cunning test at the beginning of every turn or lose their stealth. The owner also gains an additional die on all cunning attacks and defenses on that planet. So, Deus Ex Machina, I guess? So the High Church has created this Panopticon Matrix, and it's going to cost them. It's going to cost them fairly dearly. The Covert Transit Net is worth 18 credits, and the Panopticon Matrix is worth 30 credits, which costs them 12 of their total credits, bringing them down to 6. Okay, so that is refitting the Covert Transit Net. Edit. There we go. Okay. So they've got a couple of other little quick things to do that they want to work on. Yeah, so it's not AI in the setting. Like this isn't like Swan Song. There's no brain computer. This would be a series of algorithms. It wouldn't have a personality. This wouldn't be a like you get a phone call from the Panopticon Matrix. It's like a series of intelligence technologies built by House Triangulum for the church. The priests are now reading your mail. That's right. Okay, so they've got a couple of transit web moves they want to make. So I'm actually just going to straight up copy those over because they're formatted the same way that I want them to be. All right, so activating the transit web on Endophiel, which is 0356, so transit web, this guy. They're going to open a couple of channels on this transit web here. So they're going to move something between Endophiel and Tootham. So let's see. They're moving their popular movement from Tootham to Endophiel. So leaving Tootham, it looks like. Let's see. What is Tootham? Tootham is 0303. Okay, yeah, here we go. All right, so this popular movement is moving from Tootham back to Endophiel. Okay, that costs a credit. They should have the High Church. Church of Messiah's Emperor now has 5. They are moving between Hyra and Endophiel. They're moving the Cyber Ninjas off of Hyra. These are the Cyber Ninjas that were given to them by House Crux. So they're moving them off of Hyra and onto Endophiel. Okay, so let me find... I guess I can just sort by their... I'll sort by their assets. Okay, so Cyber Ninjas that are on Hyra, those move to Endophiel for a credit. And that goes down to 4. And then lastly, they're gonna move that Panopticon Matrix they just got, and that's gonna move from Lovelace to Endophiel. So the Panopticon Matrix is going home. So it gets built and sent home to Church Planet. And there we go. Cool. All right. The High Church. Surprising, no one. I don't know if anybody doesn't have a statement this turn. The High Church has a statement they would like me to make. That statement is brief. Thank you, High Church. The High Church stands for peace in the virtuous light of Almighty God, which cannot be purchased with all the gold in the coffers of the money changers. God is watching. We will not disappoint them. God is watching. God is watching through the Panopticon Matrix. So there we go. All right. The High Church of the Messiah as Emperor has completed their turn. Turn 3 is the High Church's partnership in gold and bling, the Trilliant Ring, who we saw for the first time in the other. What's that? What are you talking about? Panopticon Matrix is not listed on Lovelace. Look, I'm looking at it right now. You need a Panopticon Matrix. All right. So, Trilliant, the Trilliant Ring. We saw them for the first time on the show, and we're going to see more of them for sure very soon. But today, the larger Trilliant Ring, they start with 13 faction credits. They have, I think, 3 party machines. These guys know how to party. 1, 2, 3. Yep, they have 3 party machines, so they get 3 extra credits, which gives them 21 to begin with. 5, 6, 8, 21. Yep, 21 credits to begin with. Trilliant Ring, and they are also going to buy. They're going to buy something. So let's pop over and do their turn. So the Trilliant Ring, turn 3, action, buy asset. They are going to purchase a covert shipping asset, which I believe costs 8. Yep. On Berkman 3. Speaking of the live show. All right. So they're buying an asset. It's covert shipping on Berkman 3, and that's it. That's their turn. So let's go and adjust their biz. So covert shipping for the Trilliant Ring. Covert shipping on Berkman 3. There it is. Okay. Fantastic. So that'll allow them to move things around. I also have to charge them for it. They end up with 13 again. So they make money and they spent it right away on that covert shipping, and now we have a statement. We have a statement from the Trilliant Ring. However, this is not an intentional statement. Imagine this statement like whatever you prefer. This is a leaked transmission from Trilliant, right? This is a leaked transmission from Trilliant. The Trilliant Ring intercepted Trilliant transmission. Upper echelon level security clearance required. Project Iconic Symphony is operational, ready to begin distribution throughout the expanse. Operation Iconic Symphony. Interesting. So the Trilliant Ring, they're like loose friends. They're the church's loose friend. They're like, they haven't sworn like an alliance, but they've been seen hanging out with the church. And they haven't sworn to the Empire officially in any way, but also I remember them turning down ages ago, turning down the STO. So it's cool. I'm interested in seeing as the sector trade organization, as the Empire kind of like get bigger and start banging heads more. I find myself more and more interested in like the Deathless and the Trilliant Ring as these like side like unaligned characters. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm keeping a close eye on you, Trilliant. Not in a negative way, but in a like I'm very curious about what you're gonna do. Cool. All right. So Trill, you now have your Project Iconic Symphony in operation, and we are ready to move on. So our next faction is a faction of some. There's been some hubbub about this faction. There's been some chatter. The choices of this particular faction have been of great debate and discussion because they stand, for now, in two worlds. No, I don't need to assign Trilliant's new goal. I have no new goal from Trilliant. Trilliant did not give me one. If Trilliant would like to, they can for the beginning of the next fact turn, but I don't have one now. So yeah, the next faction, our next faction is House Vela. House Vela. So House Vela is an Imperial faction, Imperial House. They are essentially the ones who put the sector back together after the Scream, and they have aligned themselves with the Sector Trade Organization. So they're kind of the nobles, and I've been saying over the last month, it's interesting because there's a lot of sort of in-character headbutting around House Vela. I love that they made that choice. I think it's really cool. I think it's interesting that it's causing all of this in-character stuff, and I think that there's historical precedent, right? Like, history will tell whether or not they are either forward-thinking and intelligent nobles, or if they are the greatest traitors that the Empire has ever seen. It really depends on who wins the war, right? So I'm coming at it from a neutral but interested perspective, and I think it's quite cool that they did what they did. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what else happens with House Vela. I know that it's been stirring up a lot of stuff, and that's what I want. I want stirring. I want it to be interesting, and it's really interesting for me personally because I can use this stuff because we have a Vela in the show. So House Vela, they have 2 credits to rub together. They get 5 from their income. They have 1 party machine. Let me go back and double check here. So they've got this 1 party machine. There it is, House Vela party machine. Okay. All right. So they get a total of 6, bringing them up to 8. And now they are going to, much like their companions, they are going to purchase an asset. So for action, buy asset, and they're going to purchase another, just like last turn, they're purchasing covert shipping on Hakani, and that cost them 8 minus the 1 for their discount, because they get a discount when they buy shit like that. Okay, covert shipping on Hakani. So that cost them 7, which brings them down to 1. Nope. All right, and then I will reduce, or I'll give them their new covert shipping. Yeah. All right. House Vela. Good. Okay. Covert shipping on Hakani. All right, there we go. House Vela, you have got your materials sorted out. House Vela, and I'm just gonna read the text, but if you get a chance, find the in character version of this declaration. It's beautiful. They have a really nice letterhead. House Vela's got some good letterhead. Actually, Triangulum has really good letterhead too. Yeah. Anyway, I'll read it. You go find it if you get a chance. It's quite cool. Yeah, thank you. Vela has posted it in chat. It's beautiful. To Acheron Row. 23 years ago, House Crux instigated war against a noble house and the reigning emperor of the sector. We fought Cygnus because we trusted the word and guidance of our fellow nobles and the Church of the Messiah. With dismay, we see House Crux and the High Church wielding the accusation of treason like a weapon again. They seem to want war and nothing but war, when all we need now is peace and prosperity. House Crux wants to lead, but lacks the ability to guide. The Church of the Messiah seeks to control and manipulate the will of the people through the simple puppet emperor. What we see is another tyrant in the making, and we are not willing to let that happen. We are no longer willing to overlook how our fellow nobles and the High Church themselves are in league with pirates and cannibals. We have chosen. The Treaty of Cabina has been signed. Humanity and all its children will be freed from the shackles of these fallen institutions. Prosperity will be restored. We remember, we learn, we grow, we guide. And I've been instructed to let you know that if you were, for example, to try to look for a secret code in this piece of work, buried in the code of this transmission is the following, which means fucking nothing to me, but maybe it'll mean something to you. 0606 K9 100 in 1. Very high certain phallac. So anyway, I have no idea what that means, but maybe you do. Secret transmission. Secret transmissions from House Vela. So there we go. That's our House Vela. That's so Vela. So that's them. They are squared away here. And now we can move on. House Vela, thank you for your participation. So, speaking of House Crux, speaking of some big purple bears, let's take a look at what the sometimes maligned, sometimes heroic House Crux. So House Crux is turn order number 5, and they are going to take the action, buy asset. But before they can buy assets, they need money. So House Crux begins with a balance of 5. They have 2 party machines and an income of 4, which brings them up to 11. 11 balance. And they are going to purchase an extended theater. So extended theater on Hyra, which costs them 10. And then they have some free moves they're going to use with their transit assets. So this is a new asset, extended theater on Hyra. The extended theater, I will read a description if you're curious. So these facilities allow for transporting assets long distance. As an action, any one non-starship asset, including itself, can be moved between any 2 worlds within 2 hexes of the extended theater for a cost of 1 fat cred. Yeah, the Deathless have one of these bad boys, I think. Okay. All right. So extended theater on Hyra. Let's go ahead and throw that in. Oops. A new faction called Extended Theater. As we have come to learn, the ability to transport assets is a big deal. And that costs them 10. Yep. Costs them 10 of their fat creds, bringing them down to a balance of 1. They're also going to spend that last FAC cred to activate covert shipping on Hyra, and they are going to move. They're going to move some assets around. So, activate covert shipping, which is 1 cred, 1 face cred, and they are going to move. So it spend 1 fat cred to move a special forces unit between any worlds within 3 hexes of covert shipping. They're going to move their informers from Hyra to Lodestone. All right, moving their informers, Crux informers, head to the Pixis home world, the special station. So the secret police have arrived on Lodestone. So the secret police, the House Crux secret police, these informers head to Lodestone. All right. So they've headed to Lodestone. Perfect. Okay. House Crux. I don't have a statement from House Crux. House Crux, they speak with their actions. They speak with their actions. I'm going to just double check just because it seems so unusual. No statement from House Crux. You respect that. Gotta respect that. They're like, no, it's fine. We'll speak with our actions. So that brings them down to, yeah, they talked the talk last turn. Last turn, they had some serious shit to say. So, all right, good. Thank you, House Crux. This is nice. I like how they're all flowing into the other. So this time, the respondents, and I would say, like, this is one of the most politically significant turns, this one we're about to do, because it represents people with guns on a planet they don't belong shooting at people, right? Storming around in the streets, getting into battles. So up next, it's the Aker Corporation. So last time we saw the Aker Corporation have Space Marines landing on Dio Mikado. Space Marines of the Aker Corporation, Aker troops, corporate troops, landing on the homeworld of one of the Houses Minor planets. So let's see how that goes. Turn number 6 belongs to the Aker Corporation. So the Aker Corporation, they are setting a new goal to blood the enemy. Yep. Okay, blood the enemy. And then they get income of 7, I think. Let's take a look. Aker Corporation. Yeah, 7 because they have +1 and -1, which brings them up to 9. And they are going to take the attack action. So Aker is making some attack actions here. But before they do, first they're using their covert shipping for 1 fact cred to move before an attack. Right? So covert shipping that they have on Hakani for 1 faction credit. So using the Aker Corporation, using their covert shipping operation on House Vela's homeworld, they move a commodities broker from Demnoth to Lodestone. Business assets move to Lodestone. So that brings them down to 8. And the Aker commodities broker, it doesn't really matter which one because they're mechanically identical, moves from Demnoth to Lodestone. Okay, all right. Yeah, exactly. Vela hands Aker the keys for a drive-by. That's okay. They're friends. All right. Then they are going to begin their attack. So the first attack action, both platoons of Space Marines on Dio Mikado begin their attack on the Houses Minor. So response. I checked with the Houses Minor. Here's how it's going to go. So the Space Marine attack is on Dio Mikado. They are going to block with they're going to block the first attack with their commodities broker. So let's take a look at what's going on Dio Mikado. So Dio Mikado, the Houses Minor have a commodities broker that they're going to use to defend. So Aker is attacking their like business assets, right? And what I love about this is the attacker doesn't get to frame, like the attacker and the defender have to work together to frame the fiction of it. So stormtroopers land on Dio Mikado and they start attacking commodities brokers. They start attacking business organizations, which makes sense for Aker, right? So they're going to block their first attack with the commodities broker. And they've got some defense orders in here. So let's take it real slow and we'll see how it goes. We'll do 1 attack at a time. So, where's my notebook? Sometimes it helps for me to write down the math before I do it. So we're looking at an Aker attack against the Houses Minor. And it is with a Space Marine unit, which is force versus force. Which means Aker's force is 7 versus the Houses Minor's force, which is also 7. So it's an even bet. Neither of them have force-related abilities, right? Aker is wealth attacks. The House's Minor is cunning attacks. Okay. All right. So that's cool. Force versus force, 7 on 7. If the attack succeeds, they will deal 2d8 plus 2 damage. 2d8 plus 2. If the attack fails, the first Space Marine unit will suffer 1d8 counterattack damage. Okay. All right. So, Aquilan businesses being attacked by Aker. Yeah, the Deathless Strike Fleet is just hanging out in orbit. So we'll do these attacks one at a time. Let me get over to drink. Anybody who's still playing the old Swan Song drinking turn. The drinking turn. All right. So the first attack, we're going to roll. This is a 7v7 d10 roll. Here we go. Aker gets a d10 plus 7. Aker gets a 13. 13. Or a B, I guess, if you... Okay. Aker gets a 13 versus the House's Minor, which get a d10 plus 7. Here we go. An 8. All right. It is a successful attack. Successful attack on the part of the House's Minor. So this, or on the part of Aker. So it is a success. All right. Now, when we deal with attack successes, the defending asset or the defending faction they get to make a choice. So let's see. The defending asset, if the attacker is a success, the defending asset suffers damage. If the defender has a base of influence, they can opt to let the damage bypass it after it's rolled. So I'm going to roll the damage first. And then we'll see. So it's what? 2d8 plus 2? Oh my god. My god. 18 damage. 18 damage. Wow. Aker. Jesus. All right. So, let's see. This is nuts. Okay, so the way they've set it up, if the attack would deal 6 or fewer damage, elect to take the damage on the base of influence. If an attack would kill the commodities broker, elect to take the damage on the base of influence. So it looks to me like what happens here is the commodities broker is bypassed and the base of influence is destroyed, which is pretty significant. Yeah. Now there isn't any overflow. Let me take a look at the way the damage works. So base of influence is reduced to 0. Yeah, there's no trample damage, but it does deal 7 faction damage. So they're not allowed conditionals in terms of like setting attack orders, but these are the kinds of things that with the rules you would be allowed to make these choices if you were sitting next to me. So for defense, these are absolutely allowable. So let's go and process this. So it's 7 damage. Let's get over to the faction deal here. So on Dio Mikado, the House's Minor base of influence is destroyed. Heavy. Okay. And then in the faction tracker, we need to damage the House's Minor by 7. So they take 7 damage. So 52. $45. I did it real slow to make sure I got it right. 45. Okay. All right. So they blow up base of influence on the planet, and then they make a second attack. Now, let me look at Aker's their goal. Oh, Aker doesn't have a goal. Did I not set it? Did they give me one and I didn't set it? Yes, that's right. They have Blood the Enemy. So they're going to start working towards it. So Blood the Enemy. Let's start progress. So they need to deal a total of 7 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 20 damage. So out of 20. And they just did, whoop, they just did 7. Okay, let's see how the rest of their attacks go. Okay, no, why would it be 11 damage to the House's Minor? No. If you destroy the base of influence, the base of influence only had 7 hit points. There's no overkill. There's no trample. Trample does not, it doesn't work that way. Okay, all right. So Dio Mikado, they've lost that. There's a second attack. Let me record. Hold on. Let me record the results here. So results. Houses Minor defend with Commodities Broker. Fail. Or attack succeeds. 18 damage dealt to Houses Minor, base of influence, which is destroyed. 7 HP faction damage. Okay. All right. Attack 2. Results. So they're going to defend with their Commodities Broker again. So same roll. +7, +7. Okay. Let's pop over there. So this time, Aker rolls D10 +7. Oh, there's 3 L's in roll. Okay. All right. Aker gets... Jesus Christ! Okay. So Aker has a 15. The Houses Minor have a 15 as well. Okay. So both are successful. It is a tie. This is a tie for Aker and the Houses Minor, which means the Commodities Broker will take damage and Aker will take damage. So the 2d8 damage to the Commodities Broker... 2d8 +2, rather. So the Commodities Broker takes 14 damage. And 1d8 against the Marines. The Marines take 5. Okay. So let's record that. So HM defends with Commodities Broker. It is a tie. And then, what did I say? 14 and 5? Okay. 14 damage to Commodities Broker. I think that destroys them. And 5 damage to Marines. So let's take a quick look here. That means the Houses Minor Commodities Broker has 10 hit points. It is destroyed. And the Aker Space Marines, I'm just going to do this second one. They're down to 11 hit points. This means that Aquila's, like, official... Now, this doesn't mean that all the Aquila have been killed. It doesn't mean all the Aquila have been wiped out. Aquila is all over the planet. It means that the Aker army has seized the planet. They are occupying the planet. There are civilians. There are infrastructure. Now, Aker's next turn will paint the color of its character. Because if Aker continues to attack on Dio Mikado, this is executing civilians, right? With a force asset, yeah, they haven't seized it. They haven't seized it yet, but they've seized control. That's a lowercase s. Aker has occupied it. Let's use that word. Aker is currently occupying the planet. Yeah, and then ostensibly next turn, they can build a thing. But technically, the only people who can build on the planet now are the Deathless, right? Spotlight falls on the Deathless Mercenary because technically they're the closest to controlling the planet, but it's occupied Dio Mikado. Now the Houses Minor, it is their homeworld. So yes, they can still build. That's true. But the only non-Houses Minor faction. Sorry, I should have been clear about that. Yes. So the Deathless can still build. So we fall on them. But there is this risk, right? If Aker wants to be a bunch of genocidal maniacs, they can start murdering civilians now, unless the Deathless protect with the strike fleet, or the Houses Minor defend. But that's the jam here. So it's dangerous business for everybody around. Exciting stuff, friends. Exciting stuff. That wasn't even the whole turn. Aker's still got more shit to do. So that was their first set of attacks. Their next set of attacks is the Commodities Broker. They just moved to Lodestone. Oh yeah, we should move their Blood the Enemy. So they did another 10 damage. Thank you. They're at 17 now. Okay. All right. Yeah, on Lodestone, their commodities broker on Lodestone is going to attack the house's miner. So this isn't just about them. This isn't just about Dio Mikado. This is about everywhere. So Lodestone, they are getting attacked by a commodities broker, this time the commodities broker is being intercepted. So results: Crux defends for the HM on Lodestone with informers. So Crux is coming to the rescue, and they're gonna do the thing. So there we go. Okay, so let's see how that goes. So if we look at the asset tracker, let's go to Lodestone. This is a where are you, Lodestone? 0704, I think right now. Yeah, here we go. So the commodities broker is a wealth versus wealth attack. Wealth versus wealth. So that's going to be Aker wealth, which is 8. Jesus. And Crux wealth, which is 3. 8 versus 3. On a success. Let's see. What does it do? On a success, it deals 2d8 damage. And on a fail, the informers don't do any counterattack, so they're gonna just block it up. Okay. Aker has chosen to use their plutocratic ability. Aker has chosen to use their plutocratic ability, which gives them advantage on this roll. So I think I know how this is gonna go. Let's find out. So this roll is 8 versus 3. 8 with advantage. So 2d10, keep the best one, plus 8. So a 14. Which means Crux cannot defend. There's no number here. There's no number here that'll do it. All right, so that's versus 6. All right, and then we deal our damage, which is 2d8. Seven damage. Okay, 7 damage. I don't know how many hit points the informers have. Let's go look. Nope. Drink. Informers have 3 hit points. 3 hit points. The informers are rooted out and destroyed by the Aker commodity broker. All right, so that is just enough to complete their goal, which is cool. And I gotta check. The houses miner also have Blood the Enemy, and I want to see. I think they get counterattack damage, right? They did 5 damage, so 5 out of 21 on their counterattack. Yeah, those Aker informers get bought out. Yep, damage is damage. That's right. Okay, so that counterattack gave them 5 progress, but Aker completed their goal. Let's write down what happened there. So it was attack succeeds. And it was 3 damage dealt. It wasn't 3, it was like 10, right? 10 damage. It was a lot more than they needed. To the informers. It was 7 total. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I knew it was more. 7 damage on destroying it. Okay, and then Aker resolves goal. Then they have 2 more quick things I gotta do. They get so their goal is done. That means they get Blood the Enemy. What's the difficulty? No, it doesn't say in my note. Okay, let me look. Blood the Enemy. Chance the Rapper. Difficulty is 2, so they get 2 experience. Bring them up to 3. All right. The Diomikado Massacre. And then the Lodestone. Like, I look at Lodestone, like, someone in an Aker, it's 2 very different things, right? We have these, like, Aker Sardaukar storming around on Diomikado, killing people. But then over on Lodestone, it's just like a business filing paperwork to kill off some Crux informers. To be like, oh, this Crux group that just showed up on the planet. Yeah, we'll just paper them to death. Yeah, or bribe them away or bought them off. Yeah, like 2 very different methods of conflict. And that means that the Aker turn is complete. So, Aker, you have a couple of things you need me to do for you. I like this one. This is the first time I've had someone end their turn this way. So let's go back to the faction tracker. We have a column here for relationships. This is the relationship with the PCs. Aker has asked me to change their relationship with the PCs to hostile. The jurisprudence is now an Aker enemy ship. Aker, you can let me know if they're like kill on sight or detain or what, but like if they come across an Aker cruiser after this takes place in the game, which will be several months later from now in game, like probably in the summer, yeah, Aker ships. So this means like all-out war at this point, at least, between the Empire and the Aker Corporation, at least, or between Crux and the Empire, or Crux and the Aker Corporation. So yes, the Aker Corporation does have a statement to read. Strong showing, Aker Corporation. Strong showing. 22 years ago, we fought House Cygnus because it was our duty to the Empire. Crux decreed them traitors. The Church of Messiah as Emperor declared them unhuman. We trusted Crux and the Church. We gave them weapons to kill an entire world. Today they have betrayed that trust. Crux call us traitors. The Church of Messiah as Emperor and the Astral Synedrium use pirates to fight a proxy war for personal gain. They demand we bow to tyranny once more. Instead, we stop to rethink our actions and take the harder path. Now our duty is to Acheron Row. We have chosen. The Treaty of Cabina has been signed. Empires rise and fall. Trade is eternal. Now, forever. Hashtag buy Aker. Damn. All right. So the corporate violence. Corporate violence. Speaking of corporate violence, let's do a turn for Prism. All right, Prism. So Prism is 6th this turn? 7th? Where are we? 7th. So Prism is 7th. They are going to set their goal. All right. New goal. Oh yeah, that's right. We got to. Well, I'll grab Aker's goal too. So new goal is Peaceable Kingdom. Okay, so we'll set that up. Let's go do that now. So Aker is done with Blood the Enemy. Delete notes. Clear notes. Where is it? There it is. Clear notes. Okay. So the Prism Network. I like that it's like, it's Peaceable Kingdom. We're peaceable, but like our friends are going to attack everybody. It's good. It's nice. This is how the Prism Network should work. Okay, so that means they are progress 0. 0 of 4. Nope, sorry, I took away your homeworld. Progress 0 of 4. Oh, did I give that to the wrong? No, we're good. Prison Network, peaceable, progress 0 of 4. Yep. Okay. Good. Okay. So, cool. Now we got to give them their credits. Credits where credits are due. So they have 1 party machine and a base of 5, so they get 6, which brings them up to 9. And they're going to buy an asset. Prism Network. Buy asset. And they are buying a monopoly on Echo. Make sense? Cost them 8. So they're down to 1. Nope, down to 1. They have progressed 1 turn worth of peace. And the Prism Network has a monopoly, another media monopoly, and this one is on Echo in AeroPay. There you go. Cool. Good stuff. All right. Done and done. They have a statement, of course. The STO really likes these like collaborative statements. I want to remind everybody, the STO and the Empire are lore only. Like, the mechanics will never support multi-faction alliances. Every faction is always considered your rival, no matter whether you are in an alliance with them or not. So everybody on the faction Discord who are changing their tags to like director of the STO is fake and not real. The Empire, fake, not real. Only on a very thin lore level do those actually exist. They are purely in character. The game will never support you in like being friends like that. And if you act like, if you continue like, non-opposition is fine. I won't make you fight each other, but like we've talked about this, if it gets to the point where it looks like you all like one monolithic alliance is forming, I will just force merge you. I mean, I'll warn you. I'll be like, listen, break or you're going to get merged. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The Houses Minor is a single faction for a reason. Yeah. But this is a war. I'm going to let it play out, right? This alliance, cuz I would like you to consider that like a war can end anytime you agree and an alliance can break anytime, right? So those are interesting things. In the same way that it was interesting that House Vela, in one of maybe my favorite moves of the faction turn so far, House Vela left the Empire. They've turned their back on their heritage, debatably, to join the STO. That could also be a thing. So anyway, keep that in mind as you go. And that's as much for me telling the audience. Like, I know a lot of the in-depth faction folks are part of that, but they know that already. But for everybody, for the wider audience, like, something to keep in mind. Like, there's no such thing as a faction alliance mechanically. Okay, so Prism has an announcement. They also have, okay, we gave them their thing. All right, so Prism Network would like me to tell you, 23 years ago, House Crux decreed a truth based on no evidence, enforced dictatorially on the sector of Acheron Row, a truth shouted by their bloody-handed priests, a truth that declared our own neighbors to be soulless and illegal, demanded records be destroyed and left knowledge be lost. Today they ask us to accept another of these truths, but we have seen the cracks. We stop to rethink our actions and choose a new truth. Those that bear the name of Cygnus and all their children will find refuge and shelter wherever the STO has power to maintain it. We have chosen. The Treaty of Cabina has been signed. The truth is here. Prism will hide it no longer. That is a serious fucking thing to say, right? This is very dangerous. And I joked with Prism. I said, this is a pretty bold thing to say. Wait until season 2 when the Secret Cygnus faction activates all of their synths and like murders you from your own homeworld. This is like a really fucking dangerous thing to say. This is like saying like, yeah, I mean, it's dangerous. It's saying like, this war that we just won, this war that Crux fought to potentially like save us from a threat that never came to be. It was wrong. It was wrong that we fought this. Yeah, dangerous. And again, like treason is this word that gets thrown around a lot, but treason is decided by whoever says they're deciding, right? Like, it's action that shows treason, but it's definitely heresy. Yeah. Yeah, I like it. I think it's cool. Yeah. All right. Why would they murder us after we help them get back into power? Yeah, you are assuming that House Cygnus is interested in that. I mean, they're scattered and destroyed, but like, they're not good guys. I'm not going to be like, guess what? House Cygnus is back and they love you. All right. So let's continue.